Hello student, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to study about different type of database. Okay, before learning about different type of database, you should understand basic about what is DBMS, and for that the prerequisite is to watch my previous video. Okay, let's start with a lecture that is a different type of database. Okay, so different type of databases are centralized, distributed, relational, NoSQL, cloud, and many more. Okay, let us study one by one. First is the centralized database. What do you understand by the word centralized database? Centralized database is kept, managed, and accessed from a single place. Okay, there is a single database, and from that particular location, all kind of operation is being carried out. Okay, so example of this centralized database is some kind of central library that carries a central database for each of the library from different colleges and university. Okay, so what are the advantages of this centralized database? You can consider the main advantages of the centralized databases. As everything is kept at one location, it is easy to access, it is easy to coordinate. The data redundancy, which is one of the major problems of the various database, it is reduced. Okay, there is a very little data redundancy, data repetition is very less, it is less expensive. Okay, and better data quality. Okay, and what is the disadvantages? Obviously, as everything is stored at one location, so the data traffic is going to increase. Okay, and if there is some kind of failure over here, the complete system will break down. Okay, so that is the main disadvantage of this centralized database. Okay, next is the distributed database. What do you understand by the word distributed? That it has been distributed. Okay, it is dispersed. Okay, it consists of multiple database that are been connected and spread across the different physical location. Okay, and they are managed independent of one another. Okay, example of this distributed database is HBase, Apache Cassandra. Okay, these are the example of the distributed database. Okay, from this diagram you can see that again the distributed database is being divided in the homogeneous distributed database and heterogeneous distributed database. What is homogeneous distributed database? That such kind of database which is distributed across the network. Okay, they are going to use the same operating system, they are going to use the same application, and they are going to use the same hardware. Whereas in the heterogeneous, they are going to use the different operating system, they can run on different operating system. Okay, they can use different techniques and variety of hardware component. Okay, so what are the advantages of this distributed database management, distributed database? Okay, so first is it is easily accessed from different computer network. Okay, and the database is much more secure because it has been distributed. Okay, it has been distributed across the different physical location. Okay, whereas the disadvantage of this kind of distributed database is it is going to increase the complexity. Okay, it is going to increase the complexity. Next is the relational database. It is one of the very important type of database. Relational database, as a student you might be using such kind of database. Okay, so what is this relational? What do you understand by relational database? That the data is stored in the form of rows and columns. The data are stored in the form of rows and columns. Rows are also called as tuple, and columns are also called as attributes. Okay, and our DBMS uses the SQL for storing. It uses structure query language for storing, manipulating, and maintaining the database. Okay, very important property of relational database is ACID property, that is atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. Okay, what actually is the ACID property? I will explain you in the next lecture. Next is the NoSQL. Okay, what do you understand by NoSQL? Okay, or you can say non-SQL, that it is non-tabular. Okay, data is not stored in the form of table format. Okay, and it is going to use, or it is used for storing wide range of data set. Okay, so it can be of different types, that is key value storage, graph database, wide column store, document oriented database. Okay, so in the key value storage, how it can be in the key value storage, for every key there will be one kind of value. Okay, document oriented database, the data is stored in the JSON like document. Okay, what do you understand by JSON? That is a JavaScript object notation. Okay, and in the graph database, it is used for storing vast amount of data in the graph like structure. Okay, wide column store means data is not stored in the rows, but it is stored in the large column. Okay, properties of NoSQL is either it can use any one of this to store its data. Okay, your productivity is enhanced, it is highly scalable. Okay, so these are the advantages, and disadvantages are there is no particular standard rules that govern the NoSQL database. Okay, but it is widely used. That is one of the widely used database is MongoDB. You might heard about this term MongoDB. Okay, next is the cloud database. Okay, cloud computing, cloud database, you might have heard about this. So in the cloud database, data are stored and executed on the cloud platform. On the web it is stored. It consists of many functions of a traditional database, but with the added flexibility. Okay, means it is stored on the, like your Google Photos, it is stored on the cloud. Okay, so over here you are going to use some kind of vendor API to access those kind of features. It is highly scalable, it is disaster free. Okay, only the risk in kind of this cloud database is the data confidentiality. Okay, and it is dependent on the internet connection. If you don't have some kind of connection, you cannot access this cloud database. Okay, next is the object oriented database. Okay, in an object oriented database, the database that work with the complex data object. Okay, the object used in this type of database mirror to those in the object oriented programming language. If you are going to use the concept of programming language, if you are going to use the complex data object, okay, then you should go for this object oriented database. Okay, what is the advantages of this object oriented database is the database structure is similar to the programmable object. Okay, so coding is simple, and it is going to consume the less resources. Okay, and disadvantages is the document and the support for object-oriented database are relatively small. Okay, so you can face some kind of technical problem. Next is the hierarchical database. Okay, it is one of the oldest model. Okay, you might have heard about database models. Okay, so in that there is a hierarchical database. Okay, it is one of the oldest data model present in the community. Okay, the data is viewed as a collection of the table that form the hierarchy relation. Okay, there is some kind of hierarchy relation. What is the relation? That the each parent record can have multiple children, but each child record can have only one parent. Okay, advantages of this are this architecture of database is such that relationship between layer is straightforward. Okay, it offers good data integrity. Okay, all the data is contained in a common database. Okay, so data sharing become practical. What is the disadvantages? Okay, it lacks the flexibility. Okay, it lacks the flexibility. Next is the network database. Okay, network database management, okay, are based on the network data model. Okay, that allow each record to have multiple parent and multiple child record. Okay, it can allow multiple parent and multiple child record. Such kind of database you can see over here in the diagram. Okay, it is a network database. Okay, and last is a personal, whatever data you are going to store in your system for a particular personal use. Okay, you can categorize it as a personal database, but it is not included in that particular diagram which I have shown you when I started with my lecture. Okay, I hope that you understood my lecture regarding various types of database. Okay, so this concept is very important to understand the basic about what is DBMS, what are the various types of database, and depending upon the various type of database your need, you are going to implement it accordingly. Okay, so thank you for watching the video, and if you like it, kindly like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. See you soon.